Good day, class. In this lesson, we will study solving equations. We will focus on equations of the addition-subtraction type, or equations following the addition property of equality. Notice the equations that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. If you pay close attention, you might notice that they are very similar. However, their solutions are very different. Let's take a look at a classification of these equations. The first equation has been identified as an equation of the addition type. It follows the addition property of equality. We will talk in depth about the addition property of equality in this lesson. Pay close attention to what is happening to the variable x. The value of 2 is being added to the variable x on the left side of the equal sign, and we're being told that that quantity is the same as 12. In our second example, we're dealing with the multiplication property of equality. If you'll pay close attention to that value of x, that variable x, it's being multiplied with the 2, and we're told that the product of 2 and x is the same as 12. Again, in the first equation, we're adding 2 with the x. In the second equation, we are multiplying the 2 with the x. It is very important to recognize these differences, since the steps to resolve these types of problems will also be very different. Notice the third example. We have a combination of both the addition property of equality type equation and the multiplication property of equality type equation. We will go into detail about how to solve these types of equations where something is being multiplied by the variable, is being multiplied by some value and is also being added or subtracted. In the fourth example, we'll notice that we have a value of x on the left side of the equal sign as well as the right side of the equal sign. Hence, the title or the equation type, we call it variables on both sides. Remember, both the multiplication property of equality, multi-step type equations, and variables on both sides will be addressed in a different lesson. Let's move forward and deal with the addition property of equality. We'll look at that very same example. 2 plus x is equal to 12. You may recall the method that we might use to solve this equation. Remember that solving an equation means finding the value of x. There is only one number that we can add with the value of 2 and get a solution of 12. You probably know that that number off of the top of your head is 10, but there is a method that we must go about to solve it so that when the problems become more involved, we understand the theory and we can get to the solution. Let's move forward with the steps to solve this problem. If you'll notice that something has been added to x, then in order to undo that, which is the theory behind getting the solution to this problem, we must subtract that same value from x. In other words, this 2 has an understood plus in front of it, so we can undo that by subtracting 2. So subtracting 2 on the left side of the equation really means that we have 2 plus x minus 2, where those 2's undo each other. Because we have an equation, it is important to maintain balance. Therefore, whatever has been done to the left side of the equation has to be done to the right side of the equation in order to maintain this balance. This is a concept that you must keep in mind at all times when solving equations. It will become second nature. Now I'll simply perform the operations that have been proposed here, where my 2's cancel out to 0. Notice how this is always going to happen in every equation that I solve. I want something